welcome to episode 23 of Satisfactory. Those eagle-eyed amongst you have probably spotted things look a bit different in this, where I'm hovering now over the middle of my main belt run through here. Ooh. Let's go for a ride. So what happened, I rebuilt my Windows PC, which I do all my gaming on and record this series on. And in my stupid behaviour, I forgot to back up my most recent set of Satisfactory saves. So as a result of doing that, I lost about, this goes back to about episode 19 of the series, so I'm not too sure exactly how many hours I lost. I think it's around 15 to 20, I suspect. As you can see, the belt runs that we did from that main area, the western factories are not there. Neither are the belt runs underneath, so it's all got to be redone again. So I will be doing that off camera. I'm not going to put you through that again. Over here. So yes, so that's a bit of a stupid part on my part to do that. I'm going to do some damage here. Oh, nearly died. So I will do that off camera and get back to kind of where it was at the end of episode 22. It might not look the same because I probably won't build it the exact same way, but I'll get to essentially the same end point. Where after that, the next step would have been to, I think, start building the runs to the central factory, the central storage area, which is going to be roughly a bit where I am standing. Now flying, roughly around underneath me here, and also start moving some stuff around and start doing the belt runs from the south and north factories and the west factory into this belt run, in this central factories storage area. There's not much more to be done in terms of belt runs. Once you've got the heavy modular frames, which is the first one here, and the circuit boards coming from down there, we repath these three a bit, and repath these three and join those in. That's all there is to this setup, which I know it sounds a bit easy on, not easy on, sort of easy on paper, but it'll take a bit of work to get back to where it was. Once that's done, we're going to probably in a separate video we'll look at getting ready for our 1.0 release, which is in, as we're top recording, about 3 weeks, on September 10th. I will probably do a separate video leading into that, because I would like to go through some of the various bits and pieces that Coffee Stain Studios have put out leading up to this, including a very, very recent trailer that has come out in the last couple of days as of recording, that goes through the new machine that they've created, which is a quantum analyzer, I think is the machine name they actually called it. And that is a brand new machine. I suspect is going to have heavy play into what they do in terms of the progressing through the rest of the story, quote unquote story, or even more specifically, the expansion of the building that you had to do, because the whole idea was you're building machine parts to items to go up the space elevator. That ended when you couldn't do any more of that a while back, because they just ran out of things to build. They didn't have any more progression in that. I suspect this new machine will play into the next set of those items. So yeah, that's what we'll probably do in a separate video leading up to the episode 1.0 release. Also talk about what I will do in terms of that. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do at this point, but I'll try and do something around the release of 1.0. Just not sure what that will be at this point. But we'll cover that in a later episode. But for now, you're going to see a bit of a time cut like normal, and when I come back from that, all of this will be basically back to where it was at the end of episode 22. It's a small cut for you, but it's going to be several dozens of hours for me to get back to there. It won't be the same as what I had before. It'll be close enough that it'll have the same outcome as before, but because I won't have done the exact same pathing, exactly the same as what I did in the last the videos now that I've lost all that saves to, it'll be the outcome will be the same and not the actual journey, so to speak. So yeah, see you in a few seconds, and then we'll come back and talk about what we're going to do next. Okay, 6 hours later, and I've basically got back to where I was before I lost my backups, my saves I should say. Dodgy backup that I didn't have. So that's what I've created. I'm just going to give off this guy for a second, let me fly it away. So we've got our sort of plus sort of pattern now. We've got the 4 main, the 4 wide foundation that goes from the south factory right through to the north factory. We've then got a two foundation wide run out of the west factory. This at the end of that bit is going to be where the storage location will be, storage hub. Excuse me. But what we've got under here is we've now got, so we've got the 4 lanes. Did do a little bit different to what I had before because I had a bit more flexibility in what I ended up doing. So what we've got now is we've got each end. Just middle that before we go through. So in each here we've got basically 4 levels of logistics now. So if I come out of here, sort of get a bit of more of a sense of it from there. So you've got the level down there, level, depending how you want to count them, up or down. You've got 4 levels. Each of them come out of various places. Each of the materials come out of different places and go up and down and around. So it's not particularly efficient in the pathing of the various belt runs. But ultimately you're not going to see it because the idea would basically be that it'll be behind that kind of a wall. So you won't even see what's behind it. So it'll be like that on all sides of it. We'll do something like these sort of pillars underneath to quote unquote hold it up. So it looks like it's actually got some sort of foundation. It's going to have this sort of grid on the side of it, on each side of it. And then underneath here, we've got what was the plastics, rubber and cooling system, I think. So plastic and rubber actually come from another factory area. Cooling system comes from here, this end, this east factory. North factory. So what we've got there is we've got aluminium casings, quartz, crystal and plastic, 2 of which are made in this area. Plastic comes from another area. Other side there we've got circuit boards and heavy modular frames. Are from made at this north factory. They go straight through. These 3 lanes from here go along there, and then they actually turn right and go up to there. On the next level down, on the very last level though, we've got 3 things. We've got rubber, which comes from another factory area, cooling system and fused modular frames, and they go right through. They go right through the very far end. They go right through here, and they come into this other factory, into this south factory. They come into there and they split various ways through there. And then from here up on this level we've got rotor control units and supercomputers. They come from over in the west factory, and must be up here, sorry, here it is. Smart plating computers also come from the west factory. Far side there, on the same level, we have cable and rotors which come from the west factory. So they all come along, all of those six belt runs, 6 belt runs. Computers, cable, rotors, smart plating, all on this level. And this is where it becomes a little bit messy, is in this part of the factory, where all these various in here under this west factory, all join into and come into the various, join this part of the, I'm not sure what to call this whole thing. We'll call it a highway for the time being, belt highway we'll call it. This belt highway that goes into there, it's a bit of a mess beyond here. I've got things crossing over where they probably really shouldn't be. So for example, down on the, I think it's on this next one down, I've got, I did have, again it's 4 levels, so it's going to match the other side. So plastics are there, supercomputers are there. That's what I was looking for, this bit over here. So you can see this quick wire is just crossing over with computers, because I just had to do it that way to make it just more easier to get the computers over to there. So a whole bunch of rerouting I need to do under here to make things just look better and be logical. But for the time being, it's getting stuff to where they need to go in terms of getting to onto this belt highway. So that's where the plastics and quartz come in, and the aluminium casings over there. Actually, I had to slightly tweak a. Which one was it? I think it was this one. Yeah, this one here. There's actually a machine up here which is making crystal oscillators. I actually moved that forward a fraction towards where we're hovering, sort of basically a little bit right to left, to allow this to line up more efficiently with the belt right over there. It was doing a really weird left-right hook stuff. It's still not perfect because the run of reinforced iron plate from over here, where it gets made and come out here and gets split about 3 different ways. It's, as I said, things need to be redone under here a little bit, but I'm not ready to do that just yet. But that's basically done that bit. So basically now the next step will be to put the that sort of framework, which I think is actually called, what's it called? It's not a window. Might be in there. It's a frame wall is what it is. So build that all the way along here, all along those this bit, so it's all across all 4 levels of this, across that. Fill in the rest of the walls around each of these platforms, each of these factory areas. Get all the floors built. They're not all built yet, not all built out. Build out the 4. I'm not too sure I need the 4 levels of this one under this one, but that's where it's going to go. I need to reroute that sulfur that you can see there. That is bringing sulfur in from a resource node that is somewhere behind that factory there. Do we jump right up? Jump up here. We might just see it through the. You can just see the top of the. Just see the top of the miner just there. Oop, this is in just there. So there's a sulfur node just there. That was the closest one to here. This goes all the way through the factory and ends up over there actually, to help with the nuclear process, manual waste process. So I've got to route that. So I'll think about routing that. I'm not sure. Obviously, the obvious thing to do would be bring it in under this set of 4 things through the hub probably. So we'll probably do that. And then bring it up under here onto one of these platforms to then go straight through there and join it where it goes. So that's probably one little thing to do. Get rid of all this other stuff that's sitting down here, because that's all going to go down here. There's a whole nother little section, because where that miner is, that's a pure coal node. When I very early on in this factory, I actually had coal generators in this area because I had water sources and water was needed for coal. So that was the coal for it, but that's not needed anymore. So yeah, build those up, put the foundations in to make it look like it's actually got some pillars to hold it up. I'll probably put these miners in some boxes to make them look a bit different as well, so we'll probably look at doing that. There's also a bunch under that foundation and over there as well, so we'll probably put them in some boxes to make them a bit more contained, a bit more like everything else. Then we'll get to building the belt runs that are come out of each factory area. So my idea was, and I'll still probably go this until I find out it's not going to work for me, is that I will build, I need to change this, I need to bring this forward, so I need to actually build 2 more lanes, so I've actually got that, and then turn that into, that's actually where the wall should be, so we turn that into the asphalt. That'd be like that. So I'll have to change that a bit. That's alright. I'll fix that. Yeah. So out of each of these buildings is making something. So the idea was going to be that I'll split off each of them and join them all into a single belt run that comes out of this factory area. Likewise with the other 2 areas as well. So into this main hub will be 3 belt runs, one from this factory, north and the west one, south and west, sorry. And then using smart splitters and programmable splitters, we will join, we'll split them cleverly, so to speak, smartly, into the various levels required where their container will be, and they'll be using overflows, the mechanism. So it's not going to actually send stuff here deliberately. It's only going to be if there's overflow that feeding from one place to another that will actually fit into this run. So that's the plan. But I think probably for this will be a slightly shorter video than normal. I was planning to do a video. I'm still hopefully do a video leading up to version 1 being released in about a fortnight from now, give or take. That will just depend on real life, work, life, etc. to whether that happens, but that's the plan. Because there are some interesting things. They look like they've done a couple of interesting things around. They've definitely got a new machine. They've talked about that. It looks like they may also have a solution for one of the big things that's been an issue in this game for a while. Is if I come down to that, come down to this coal location down here. Which, as I said, is a pure node. Oh, I've got power here. Which, as I said, is a pure node. So if you've got so with these miners, you can using power shards, using these power shards, you can make them run way at up to 250% of normal output. If I was to go that, see, it's now running. It outputs 1200 parts per minute. There is no belt currently in the game that can cope with that. The Mark V belts, which is the fastest belt in the game, which is this one, does, I'm pretty sure it's 780 a minute at most. Yeah, 780 a minute. Whereas that's nearly, not quite double that. So they seem to be a bit of a tease in the sort of 1.0 video for the actual main release. They indicated that they've got a solution for that. It looks like they're just going to make a faster set of belts, maybe a Mark 6 belts, which will go, I mean, maybe I'll just go to 1200, just match the output of that miner at full capacity. So we'll just have to see what that's like. So there's a couple of things in that little video, and I'll probably try and put them into my videos just to show what I'm referring to. But yeah, it's interesting what they're looking at doing. It's very exciting what they're doing as well. They've got way more this quantum technologies, the new machine they've added, which I'm sure will feed into, as I said at the top of the video, will feed into, I assume, the next set of parts required for the space elevator, which is sort of part of the story / campaign within the game. But that'll be for next week or the week after. I'm actually away for the next week, so I'll be back after that. We'll do that 1.0 video hopefully that week before it comes out. And I'm going to try and do something with Steve for that 1.0 release as well. But we'll see how that goes. That'll come down to timing, but that is a bit of a plan in my head. Not that he knows that yet, but I'm sure he'll be up for it. And then we'll keep going with these videos and see exactly what we end up with after 1.0. There's much more to do now. But yeah, we shall do that then. But until then, that's enough for episode 23. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.